coverage.
More experience. More stats.
And that's final.
ET Final Score is brought to you by Ashley Furniture.
Hello and welcome to the ETFinalScore.com Junior College Football Show. I'm Joe Buie and I'm joined today, as always, by Phil Hicks, who covers the area JUCOs. Well, Phil, hit some of the highlights of an exciting Saturday in the conference last week.
Well, Joe, this Texas Southwest Junior College Football Conference is one of the best in the nation, and the offenses are in high gear. I was at Corsicana and saw Navarra beat Tyler 52-35, and Navarra looked good with their two running backs, Tyler Middleton and Traylon Shedd, the former Cayuga and high school star and the Texas transfer, and they both were over 100 yards, and they were very, very good. But it didn't help. Tyler had like 4 turnovers.
Right.
So there's no way they're going to win when you have that many.
So it looks like unfortunately for the Apaches, it looks like they left their momentum in Corsicana that they took with them from the stunning win over NEO the previous week.
Right. That was so exciting. I thought they were on a high gear there, and then they kind of came out a little sluggish. And then, but NEO, they bounced back and beat Trinity Valley. It was actually 24-3, and Trinity Valley scored a late touchdown with under 10 seconds remaining. So they had a dominant performance in Athens.
That win by NEO really impressed me coming on the road. That tells me that NEO is pretty close to being for real, if not for real.
They are. Coach Patterson's really turned them around. They've had 3 long road trips. I don't know who does the scheduling, but they've had to go to Blinn, Tyler, and Trinity Valley. But now they get to host Kilgore. So maybe that's going to be really interesting to see what happens. That's
going to be a huge game. I think we'll talk about that a little more in a minute. But, yeah, that's going to be a number 5 against a number 15. So, yeah,
right.
Big one in the nation.
Yeah, Kilgore, matter of fact, it's amazing. They keep coming up with these wins. They were down 27-7 with 10 minutes left in the game at Blinn last week. And you know how difficult it's to win in Brenham. And then Charles Woods, who's been just a dominant defensive player, he had a 70-yard fumble return. So they got the momentum going with about 9 minutes left. And then finally on 4th and 1 with 4 seconds remaining, Kilgore's Emory, I won't say Emory Raines, but it's Emory Miller, scored on a 6-yard touchdown run, and then their extra point was good to win 28-27. Oh, what a dramatic win for the Rangers. And I do believe that Blinn had an extra point blocked earlier in that game. Yeah, Kilgore, their special teams is really what's helped them this year. They've done an excellent job on special teams. Excellent. All right. Well, talking about going back, talking about Kilgore, 6-0, 4-0, and I was just I was wondering what you could add to this. I looked at their schedule, and their schedule is pretty manageable, possibly. At NEO, host Southeast Prep, and then host Tyler. Can they run the table? They very well could. Now this game in Miami, Oklahoma, Saturday, is going to be difficult because NEO has shown they can play on the road, and I know they play well at home. So that's going to be the key. If they win that one, they have well, that'll clinch at least a tie for first place. Right. So it's going to be a really key game. And, of course, as far as Tyler and Kilgore at the end, you've seen many of those games. Anything can happen there. True. But the way things are going right now, Kilgore sure has a lot of momentum. They do. They've come out of nowhere. They weren't picked to do this well. And I guess in JUCO ball, it can change, with so many freshmen and sophomores. The turnover is great every year. So they have looked really good, and if they win out, they could have a chance for the national championship. True, and that's coming off 3 consecutive losing seasons for the Rangers. Their last bowl appearance was in 2007, and they're closing in on getting a bowl appearance for sure this year. Yeah, the fans in Kilgore, they're cheering for more than just the Rangerettes now, so the Rangers are doing a great job. True, and one other thing, Kilgore has actually, I believe, defeated NEO the last 6 meetings, I believe. Yes, they've won 6 straight against NEO, so they've got that going for them. That's true. It's funny how different teams match up well against each other, and Kilgore always does a great job against NEO. And one last thing on that game, I read where it is NEO's homecoming,
I've been up there for an NEO homecoming before, and they take that pretty seriously. So that might be a boost for the Golden Norsemen. What do you think?
Yeah, that's they put on quite a show at homecoming, so it could be for the Rangers. They hope it's not a long day. It will be time-wise. It will be long, but
yes,
hopefully not for their as far as the football team.
And Phil, they've upgraded their facilities at NEO. I know that was mentioned a couple of years ago at the preseason press conference with the coaches. Do you remember? Did they put in field turf there? Or do they still have real grass?
I believe they did because they were having trouble with flooding.
Yes.
I'm not sure what the reasoning were, but they really needed to upgrade. That's why Coach Patterson decided to come back because he was at Oklahoma State as their recruiting coordinator, and he had such a history with NEO that he came back to get their program righted because they were afraid that it actually they might drop the program.
Okay. All right. Well, Phil, how about the Apaches this week? What do they have going on?
The Apaches are playing Cisco. It's homecoming, 7 o'clock Saturday at Rose Stadium, which is always a big deal in Tyler. They have a week-long set of events, and it's a 7 p.m. kickoff, and it should be a great crowd. And Cisco comes in, and although Cisco plays Tyler so well, especially in Tyler,
yes.
But the Apaches know they have to win this game if they have any plans on being in the playoffs.
And even though Cisco looks down this year, I don't think it's a situation where the Apaches can afford to overlook them.
Not at all. The Apaches have one of the best offenses in the nation. And they got a high-quality quarterback in Tyreek Rollison. I think he's the best quarterback in the conference. And then they have these great receivers that can play at Division I. Of course, Tyler's had a history of like Johnny Knox and some other great guys that go on in the NFL. But Jeremy Chappelle, he's fun to watch. Tracy Smith and Javon Mack. And then they got the two running backs that to not be very big, Ryan Young and Leroy Dobbins, which he carried a couple times. He's had an ankle injuries and been a problem. So they're fun to watch. The problem with the Apaches is they need to do something on defense. I'm not really sure what the problem is, but they're giving up some gains that they shouldn't be.
We talked about also problems in special teams. Were they better in special teams last week?
Yes, they did not allow a TD for a score after NEO had 2 touchdown returns of 95 yards. It was somewhat better. The kicker, Escobar, got the ball in the end zone a couple times, and their coverage was much better this week.
All right. Anything else you want to add about Cisco?
Well, Cisco's still kind of a mystery. They're kind of out there in West Texas, and we really don't get to see them that much. And kind of, I think they do a good job. And Coach Palmer said the Apaches had to have their A game, or they will be disappointed because last year it was a very close game.
And they played Kilgore fairly tough at home a few weeks ago, correct?
Exactly, they did. It was 29-14, and I think Kilgore put that away late. And then they did beat Trinity Valley when Trinity Valley was still ranked on the last play of the game. So they definitely had some talent.
All right, Phil, what about the remainder of the schedule?
Well, we talked about the Kilgore at NEO game. That's at 2 o'clock Saturday.
Okay. And
that's going to be, may decide if Kilgore wins it, then they clinch a tie for the championship. And then another big game is Buie at Trinity Valley. Now, Trinity Valley has not won a conference game, but it's still possible if they win out, they can make the playoffs. And then Buie, they're going to be really angry about losing that lead to Kilgore last week. So that's a must-win for both of those squads. And then the other game is Southeast Prep is playing at Navarra in a non-conference game.
Okay. You have to wonder if Trinity Valley's got anything left in the tank. They've been through a lot.
Yeah. Last week against NEO, I know it was a disappointment because they didn't look like they came to play. I didn't see the game. I listened to it while I was covering the Apaches, but they didn't come close to scoring till late in the game. But they have a lot of talent. I'm not sure what went wrong this year, but because they were thinking about national championship.
Yeah. All right. Well, Phil, anything else we need to cover?
It's just TJC always puts on a big deal for their homecoming. So if you have a Saturday night that you want to come out and watch, there are a fun offense to watch, and it could be another double overtime game.
So, Phil, you said it's a night game, not an afternoon game?
Yeah, it's. I know usually this time of year is afternoon, but this is a 7 o'clock kickoff.
7 o'clock.
And if you come early, TJC alumni, there's a tailgating party starting at 4:30, and man, there's some good food there.
Oh yeah, sounds good. All right, well, thanks for joining us, and be sure to tune in next week.